Vergil Ortiz versus Mean Machine Kavaliauskas. It's an easy one, man. It's an easy one. We don't have to go too in depth on this one. Kavaliauskas is a guy who's going to be in front. He's going to be there to get hit, gets a little wide. Good fighter. Good fighter. 22-1. High KO percentage, 18 KOs, I believe. His only loss is to the best, Terence Crawford. No shame in that. No shame in that at all. In that fight with Terence Crawford, he had some success. Somewhat had some success early in the fight. He actually had a moment in that fight where you can argue he knocked down Terence Crawford. It was ruled a slip, but you could argue he knocked him down. So the guy has power. He can go to the body. He can mix it up by going to the body and up back upstairs, but he becomes sort of a pattern. You know, and a guy like Vergil Ortiz, I think, is underrated with his, you know, his mental acumen. I think he's underrated in that sense. A lot of times when you see a fighter like Vergil Ortiz, young fighter, 17-0, just blowing through everybody, 17 KOs with the 17 knockouts. You think of him as just a knockout artist, a guy just coming forward just to destroy people. And if he has a guy in front of him who can walk through his power and start touching him up, that Ortiz doesn't have other layers to his game, right, to solve that problem. I don't think Ortiz is one of those guys. I think Ortiz is a guy who has a lot of mental capacity, a guy who has layers to his game, a guy who can be complex, but don't get it twisted. He wants to come forward. He wants to fight on his front foot. He wants to seek and destroy. And that's why I love watching Vergil Ortiz fight. The guy is must-see TV. And on a weekend when you have multiple fights on at the same time, multiple good fights, you got Franco versus Maloney, you got Rigo versus Casimero. You got a lot of good fights this weekend. It's a strong weekend of boxing. And we needed it right now because boxing has been not so hot. When I see that, when I see a guy like Vergil Ortiz, it doesn't matter who he fights. I want to see this guy fight. He is must-see TV. Mean Machine will be there in front of him. Mean Machine will get wide. Mean Machine will be a little flat-footed. And he's not just a simple fighter, man. He's a good fighter, high KO percentage. But you're talking about Vergil Ortiz. There's a reason Vergil Ortiz is minus 1,500 in the betting odds in this fight. There's a reason that Mean Machine is a heavy underdog. And it's because of what Vergil Ortiz brings to the table. That's not a knock on Mean Machine. It's what Vergil Ortiz brings to the table. This guy is the new breed at 147, coming up with Boots Ennis. It's Vergil Ortiz, Boots Ennis. That's the future of this division. And it's becoming closer to the present of this division. This has been a dumpster fire division. It's been a lot of guys at the top yip-yapping back and forth, but not getting in the ring with each other. If we're being honest. Terence Crawford hasn't been able to get the fights at 147. Errol Spence versus Pacquiao just fell through, so you're going to have Pacquiao versus Ugas. Hasn't been the hottest division, but you have two guys, especially Vergil Ortiz, a guy coming up at 147 who I do believe wants to fight top competition in the division. And I think he has the skill level to do that. Because like I was saying, when you have a guy just coming forward, 17-0, 17 knockouts, who relies so much on power, people tend to underrate Vergil Ortiz's skill level. The guy can put combination punches together. He can do it in a complex manner. He can do it in a way that is difficult to time. You know, he might hit you with a 1, 2, 3 downstairs first. The next one, he might come with the 2, 3 downstairs and might come back upstairs with a 2 after. He mixes it up a little bit. He's not just coming forward caveman style. He's mixing up a little bit. He can dig to the body, which is a lost art as well. And he keeps his hands free. I love that. I love that. Another lost art in boxing. 2 lost arts. Body punching, keeping your hands free on the inside. Vergil Ortiz likes to do that. He likes to mix it up. High punch output. So he's a guy with high punch output and power on top of it. So he's not going to just overwhelm you with output. He's a pressure fighter who can also knock you out with 1 punch. Vergil Ortiz is a complete package. Complete package. And this is a step-up fight for him. So we get to see a little bit more of what he has to work with, what his tools are. Maurice Hooker was a good idea, and Hooker touched him up a little bit, but with Vergil Ortiz, his offense is his defense. All right, so I don't think he's worried about getting touched up. It looks like he has a good chin. We'll see. We'll see. But I like Vergil Ortiz in this fight. Middle round stoppage. I think he's going to get to Mean Machine. And Mean Machine had his moments early against Terrence Crawford, but I think it was the middle rounds to where Terrence Crawford got to Mean Machine. I think it's going to be the same thing with Vergil Ortiz. Somewhere between 4 and 6, I think Mean Machine goes down. Vergil Ortiz by knockout. I'm out. God bless. Peace.